we're using the term cloud here sort of very loosely to sort of just refer to, I don't know, a bunch of virtualized stuff that maybe is on somebody else's premises and maybe not. I want to ask you just to sort of maybe taxonomize the cloud and maybe leave out, because I asked a couple of people earlier about cloud and they said we're doing cloud and they were talking about their own internal virtualized automated infrastructure. So if you want to include that, you can, but this idea of when we say go to the cloud, what are some of the actual sub-destinations within the cloud? And again, very big question, but just sort of conceptually looking at that, and how does that map to what we're trying to accomplish? So what are these places we go to, and what tends to be what drives us to one or the other?
So great question, right? When it comes to cloud and enterprises, as you rightly said, it's become a loosely used word. And if you look at today's industry trends, probably most powerful word, probably cloud will be there, right?
Yeah.
It helps you get the budget. It helps you get things moving fast.
Yes.
It helps you pretend that I'm doing the latest and greatest,
yes.
If you're really not doing it. But again, there are different variants of needs that are out there. People are trying to meet their needs in the form factors that may be available out there in the market. The public cloud adoption of infrastructure as a service or platform as a service or software as a service. There are groups again talking about software as a service cannot be really called as a cloud because it's a workload offload completely, including the workflow. Considering that maybe one version of the real cloud service that are out there,
right.
You adopt one of that three. You can adopt one of those three actually within your premise where you really touch and feel like when I was talking about, okay, Germany, they said we need to identify that form factor server in a particular address, right? Yep. You can do that, and there are technologies out there which actually create the private cloud possible. But again, it is overly used term if you call your own data center as a private cloud because you virtualized it.
Right.
Because it doesn't give you the scalability, it doesn't give you the ability to burst out when you need, it doesn't give you the unit pricing, you still invested on CapEx model. It doesn't transform you from the traditional technologies to the newer technologies that are out there, which database as a service that you can consume, right? Horizontally scaling of data. Analytics on my data.
So right? Virtualization alone is insufficient.
Cannot be considered as a cloud, right?
Yep.
You got to take it to the next level where you can take the augmented services and be able to plug and play it if you can. If you have done that kind of things with open cloud or OpenStack or a Cloud Stack or Azure Pack kind of technologies, well and good. You have the ability to tomorrow utilize the public cloud and be able to coexist without changing your engineering ecosystem, right? The real de facto, I would say, what defines when you can call, an enterprise can call themselves as I'm using a cloud versus my own data center, is if your engineering systems and the way you engineer your services needs a change when you really go to cloud, then don't call your internal systems as I'm adopting cloud, right? When you're really saying cloud, okay, I know how to do things in my internal systems and my taxonomy doesn't change when I really go to cloud. I can treat the public services and my private services the same way.
And I think we have a few people who have that as an objective, right? The hybrid cloud environment where really workloads can transparently move wherever they need to move based on either arbitrage or regulatory issues or anything else. But I think it's a really important point, right, is that we zero in on, and maybe we could do this in the discussion afterwards, this idea that going to the cloud is not going from point A to point B, but it's going from point A to a choice of B to Z, each of which may serve different purposes in our organization, depending. Does that make sense?
That's absolutely right. And it is going to point A to multiple points and gives you the ability to go from the new point A to point B instantly.
Yes.
Probably at the time scale, speed to market probably would be an undermined word in that sense. It instantly takes you from Earth to Mars. If you are really looking for transforming your business from one geography to another geography, can you do it 24 hours? Probably in the traditional way. If you're not using real cloud services, you can say, oh, I can do it in a month, but not in a day. But you have an auction service that's coming up, you can do that.
And it's not only moving workloads around, it's also being able to tap into whatever resources. So it could be access to a database, access to analytics, access to a partner's environment, whether it's an Uber or an Amazon, right? That's really a little bit more broadly what we're talking about. Yeah.
Absolutely.